Yo, what up? It is your boy Alfreezzyy, and we are back with another episode of Taking It Easy with Alfreezzyy. Today, we got the CEO, Naay Moe, of Broken Baby Apparel. Yes, sir. And so I wanted to get your upbringing. I feel like your upbringing has a very important stance in Broken Baby. Mm-hmm. And can you explain your upbringing for the people out there?
So, honestly, the entire making of the brand and, the background of it was initially just, something that was built off my experience of childhood trauma, dealing with abuse, depression. I also have manic depressant, which is basically a fancy way they say to say bipolar. Mm-hmm. So it's a bipolar disorder that I was diagnosed with. I also attempted to take my life. So one of the first designs I created was a crying baby, mm-hmm. and it has like all my tattoos and stuff like that on it. Everybody thought it was just cool, and I was like, mm-hmm. I think it's just cool. I never really thought to tell the story behind it, but it basically just symbolizes the childhood trauma. Mm-hmm. It has tattoos, so you know that most kids don't have tattoos. Right. So it's kind of symbolizing how we sometimes take that into our adulthood as well. Mm-hmm. So, over the years, I've matured, because, I did this when I was 18, mm-hmm. And I've matured with the brand as well, and it's matured with me. Right. So it's grown into something that it's not just about me. There's a way bigger picture to it, because when I first told my story and did the behind the brand video, it made me realize how many other people are broken babies. Right. And even if they're adults, and, it's making people realize not that something's wrong with them, or that in a negative way that they're broken, but that we do bring a lot of these childhood traumas and things that we dealt with as kids into our adulthood. And it makes us look at how it affects us. Not necessarily that, like I said, something's wrong with us or that we need to be fixed or cured, but it brings the awareness.
How did that affect your school life?
So honestly, I feel like it didn't affect me too much in school until I got into high school. Okay. So that's another thing. Like my sophomore year, that's when I started being on the medication because my mom found out I was self-harming myself. As a parent, she didn't really know what to do. But I got on the medication, and the thing with the medications is it's trial and error to find, one, the correct dosage, and two, the correct medication. So there was constant up and down, constant, different side effects. I didn't get any crazy side effects, but I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't sleep, I couldn't focus in class, and I already had issues focusing in class. Mm-hmm. I ended up not liking how it made me feel. So then, one day, trying to take matters in my own hands, I just stopped taking them. Right. And I don't remember them giving me proper, education on the medicines. Yeah. But then again, this was so long ago, but it's like I didn't know that, cold turkey and off of that would basically enhance and heighten every feeling that you're basically taking the medication for. Yeah, exactly. And even when you look at a lot of the medications now, they'll tell you, oh, this is supposed to cure your depression, but it can also give you suicidal ideation, this, that, and the third. Yeah. Okay. But it basically sent me in a real bad spiral, and that's when I attempted to take my life. I tried to get into a BACC program, which is basically like where you take pre-college courses for what you want a degree in. I was reading that, yeah. And so I wanted to get into graphic design, video production. And to get in that program, you had to have good grades and good attendance. The grades, I busted my behind to get that back up, because I honestly was at like a 2. I had a GPA that was low, but it was enough for me to play ball. So I was good, but I think I graduated with like a 3.9 something, but at the time they were just like, your attendance, and they had denied me at first, and my mom had ended up talking to them and let them know basically everything that went down. Yeah. To get to that point, because if you were to go look at my transcripts, every year before that, my grades were fine. I was always on the honor roll. Right. It was that 1 year. Yeah. So they took that into consideration, and I'm forever grateful for that, because I don't know where I would be today or who I would be, but that's that's how everything really started. Like, this started from a class project, and I just wanted to make something that, yeah, like, they were like, yeah, you got to make a t-shirt. And I think in my junior year, I had took a screen printing class.
Damn.
So I knew how to make the t-shirts already, but I was like, I want to make something that means something. Like, I already did just whatever on a t-shirt, but I wanted to make something that meant something to me. And a lot of my music was tied to being broken, talking about my experiences. You know, before anybody found out about anything or I even told my story was within my music.
So your music started before Broken Baby?
Yeah, it was music first, and everybody would always talk about, your song made me cry. Your song made me cry.
Damn.
And I'm like, it's real. Like, there's like no lies told in those lyrics, and it's like, y'all, it was just a way for me to express my feelings without, in my head, it made it feel like
it was outlet. It was kind of like therapeutic.
Yeah, it was therapeutic. It was like, I'm talking, you know, about things that I really went through, really struggled with, and it's still like, it felt like it was still covered up. So it's like I had that vulnerability, but, you know, most people, they think music, what they say is fake, just because it rhymes. So I took that and ran with it, but it's like, it was real.
It's real, yeah. But I think that's what makes the best art, is the realness.
Yeah.
And when you transitioned into doing Broken Baby, how did you balance the two? How did you balance your music career and Broken Baby? So
it was rocky, and I mean, I had to make a decision at the end of the day. I did a lot of stuff while I was doing the brand still. Like, I opened for Snoop Dogg, and I still had the brand. I went on Fox's show Empire while I still had the brand. If you know about, like, you know, the music industry and how it works, you have to have a lot of streams to make money from it. Yeah, exactly. And you have to have that consistently too. And we didn't have TikTok around when I first started either.
That's
so
true,
it's like we didn't have that quick blow up.
So what year did you start making music?
I think I recorded my first song, like really recorded my first song in like I didn't have a car, so I had to be like 14 or 15.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's way before TikTok for sure. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, my first song was terrible. I listen to it now and I cringe. It's not that I would forever leave the music scene, but to me, that's not really the most important thing right now. Like, I don't want to be like a Rod Wave where I'm just singing sad songs all the time. Like, I'd rather do something that's more uplifting and positive. Right, and that's where Broken Baby comes in. Yeah. Okay. And honestly, the whole mission behind the entire movement is just, you know, spreading that awareness and letting people know they're not alone. And how has the brand and your music career, like, brought you out of your shell? I think the music was the beginning of learning how to open up and actually, like, express those feelings and get them out of my head and make them real. And like I said, it was still, like, covered up. But I think doing the behind the brand video is what really made me come out of my shell about things. Because even I tell people, like, whether it's the podcast or the behind the brand video, for every 1 to 2 things that I say, there's 3 to 5 that I'm not. It's not that I sugarcoated the behind the brand video, but there's a lot more to it. That was just like an introduction. And something that I didn't really want to get too in depth with. It was more of the message and being able to connect with other people. Yeah. And I didn't realize how much just that small portion of my story alone would, you know, motivate people and, you know, get people to see that regardless of if we are broken babies, you know, that's okay. We don't have to stay, you know, that person. Right. You can overcome these things too. Like you said you used the pain to fuel whatever you want to make. Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, honestly, you can do 1 to 2 things with your pain. You can, you know, let it hold you back, or you can let it propel you forward. And I think that's where passion comes in. Right. Is when you're using your pain for a purpose. From 2018 all the way to 2024, what has been the most eye-opening year? How many me's there are. Oh, because I thought it was just me for so long. And it's not, and I always say, like, it's not the, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you've been through depression or you've been through this. It's just like, wow, I'm really not alone. This is a lot more people than, you know, you ever thought. Someone to resonate with. Yeah. Okay. I struggle with manic episodes. Okay. You know, and even then, to some people that sounds, you know, the C word. I don't like saying the C word, but it sounds just, they're like, what? But it's it's different for everybody, you know. And with my experience with medication, I didn't want to do it anymore. Like I'm so anti-medication for myself.
Right.
But it's not been easy, but there's ways to bring myself back down from a high. Okay. And I don't get the lows too often. And if I do, I can bring myself back up, and I can identify it. And that's the thing. It's about learning what your diagnosis is and trying to figure out, okay, what can I do without medication if there's something, you know, I can do without medication. Because, like, you know, more major mental illnesses, there might be a need for medication. But me, I'm one of those people where it's like, you can't tell me that that's my only option.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the first option that was thrown at me, but it's like, you can't tell me that's my only option. Like, we got to figure something out.
And what, other than the medication, what have you figured out?
I found the gym. I've always been an athlete. It was never something that was, like, real flagging because I was always running around. I was always, you know, letting off those serotonins. And it wasn't until, you know, I really looked into it. And it's like, those are the drugs you need that need to be released in your brain. Right. And it's like, okay. And I tried the gym dirty a couple times, but honestly, it wasn't until I did 75 hard that I noticed like a real, like...
It's the consistency
that
keeps you going.
Like, it's between the gym, one of the guys I met out here, and I do my podcast with him, his name's Carr. He's teaching me about breath work and stuff like that. With manic episodes, I tend to be impulsive. So I'll make like an impulsive decision, or it's like my mind's racing so fast that when I think about doing something, it's like it's locked in on it. So it's like I gotta do it, and I gotta do it now. But I'm learning to slow my thoughts down and force myself to think. Okay. Hopefully so that, you know, at some point it starts to become natural to actually put myself to a thinking process and slow everything down.
Before you were diagnosed, did you ever like have a feeling that you were like bipolar, or what was going through your head when you actually got diagnosed?
So I don't, you know, it's like you're like, okay, now what? And it's just the diagnosis. It's not, okay, these are the pieces that are making the diagnosis. Okay, yeah. And I don't know, I don't think it really like registered, and I didn't really like take a look at it. Like, I feel like when you're diagnosed, I feel like you should go through like a process of trying to figure out what is making you say that I'm these things.
From the year 2018, after you graduated, all the way to now, what has been the toughest lesson? What has been like the hardest learning curve you faced, either with the brand, music, or mentally?
In the healing journey, you know, of trying to heal that inner child, I think the hardest lesson to accept was to accept that it happened and let it go. Okay. And then accept what it did, the effects of it, and also that the healing journey never ends. Okay. I feel like that was one of the hardest things to accept, because it's like, if you create a regimen or whatever, or you heal from these things, those scars can be reopened if you go back around those people, you go back into them environments, really create boundaries and stick to them for yourself. Okay. And I feel like that's, they say it gets lonely at the top, but to me, like, it gets lonely when you're trying to heal and grow from things, especially things from your childhood, because you really separate yourself from a lot of the things that'll, you know, those things will forever be tied to.
Do you think like being alone in your thoughts, it can be beneficial in a way?
It's worse before it gets better. I'll definitely say that. Okay. Like, in I talk about isolation a lot. I feel like isolation is needed. You need to sit with yourself and in your thoughts, because you keep them inside, you never let them out. They're always gonna be there. So why try and run from them? But you gotta be careful with isolation. You do, because you'll desocialize yourself, create anxieties, you know, that might not have been there at first. You'll create that that home for depression. All those things can be created. That's why COVID was so detrimental in the mental health numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
It's because we had no choice but to sit at home
on the phone.
You can't get no sunlight, and that's something that's
very
so beneficial.
Important.
Yeah,
sunlight is very important.
And the thing that made me realize I think COVID was still in, but I was living in Illinois. So the seasonal depression messed with me.
Okay.
But I like basements. So I always wanted to sleep in the basement.
Okay.
Basement has no windows.
Yeah.
So I never realized the effect that it had on me until, I'd sleep all day and be so unmotivated.
Yup.
And then one day I was just like, this isn't right. Like, I'm gonna move my room upstairs and see if this changes anything. And when I tell you the after the first night, that next morning, I woke up at like 7:30 in the morning, bright-eyed, ready to go.
Yeah,
Sun was in my face, and it's like, okay, so we need to switch.
You make that switch.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, it's not like you get a blueprint. Like, okay, this happened to you, so this is everything that's wrong. This is how we fix it. We'll go one by one. It's like you go about life, just constantly be aware. Of what you're doing. It helps. I try to self-reflect a lot.
Okay.
And that's something that, made an impact in the healing journey.
Do you like journal or use it like mental notes?
So I started journaling.
Okay.
And it's something that I can now be like, hey, I recommend you do this. And the only reason that I will is, one, because I'm not one to, practice what I don't preach.
Right.
But two, it helps with the process of learning how to communicate your emotions. If you're somebody like me who internalizes and suppresses stuff and has done that for so many years, you don't really know how to do that. You know how to keep it in your head. You know how to keep it running. But learning how to get it out of your head first is, to me, the first step. So it's like, if you can get it out of your head and onto a piece of paper,
it's that consistency, like that 75 day hard, or was it 75 hard challenge?
Yeah.
Exactly like that. It's just being consistent with it.
Yeah, it's like you start. That's one part of the puzzle. The next part is, trying to read it out loud to yourself if you're not comfortable reading it to others, because that's where the vulnerability comes in.
Wow. Okay, I never thought about that.
Yeah. So it's like you start reading it out loud. You hear yourself, saying these are your thoughts, your feelings, and then from there, you can share it with somebody, and that's the hardest part.
Right.
Is that vulnerability.
You've been on a good run. I seen your iHeartRadio in New York. 2024. What do you got planned for the rest of this year?
I really just want to keep. I started a podcast that's not going to be released until the 17th of April.
Okay.
But it's basically weekly episodes where me and my boy talk about our experiences and kind of how we've grown from, that broken baby, and how we are still growing from that broken baby.
So I wanted to get to the fun part. I asked you for your 3 favorite dress people you like to see dress, favorite styles. So we had LaMelo, Moneybagg Yo, and Big Meech, right?
Yeah. I would have said myself if you didn't put famous.
On a scale of 1 through 10.
So I like to fit.
Okay.
I'm not much of a shorts person. I like pants.
Okay. Yeah.
So to me, it's hard, but I'd probably say 8. And it's just because it's shorts. I don't really.
Just the shorts?
Yeah.
You think if it was all print, like with the pants, it'd be better?
I feel like that'd be a lot of print.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I picked this one. I was like, I don't mess with this shit.
Yeah, that's what I say. I give it an 8. It's hard, but especially if it was pants, no.
A Moneybagg. Again with the all over print, but
that's hard to me.
Yeah?
I like the jean jacket and pants fit. Now,
together?
Don't give me. Yeah, I like it together. And the only reason I say I like that pattern together rather than, Big Meech's is because it's bigger. It's scaled closer, so it's not like it's a lot of different things, I like that. And the look with, that's hard.
Yeah,
10.
with the white shoes? Yeah, okay.
10.
Yeah, that's a 10. Okay. Okay, so we got LaMelo right here. Kind of crazy again.
It's I like it.
Yeah?
I like it because it's so crazy.
Okay.
Because it's like it's abstract. Yeah, I like it. most people would say like, you know, that doesn't match and so and so. Probably the only thing that I would change is the shoes.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
I'd probably change the shoes, but I would keep the rest of the fit.
Yeah, it's like 2 different oranges, 2 different purples.
Yeah, that's like I can't have that. Just because the different colors, the colors have to match. It could be because the materials are different, because that, you know, that's a jacket and those
they look like hoop shoes.
Yeah, they look leather. But I like it.
Yeah. 1 out of 10?
I give it a 10.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mello. Then we got Lotto right here.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Is it a little too plain? You like the loud clothes, huh?
For me personally, I don't know what it fits. I like to switch it up, honestly.
Okay.
Like, I'll switch it up a lot. But I do like loud fits. I mean, she got the bag that matched the jersey. And
the Red Bulls.
Yeah. That's a good, I'm going sit courtside at the NBA fit.
Okay, yeah.
I give that a 10.
Bet. Okay, bet.
That might just be because I like Lotto.
Yeah, Lotto fun. There's always that one person out there that's scared to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And they always need that one person, like that one word of motivation. Because personally, I was that one person that was scared. Like, before this, I was very shy, very to myself.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always that one person out there. So what is your words of motivation for that one person?
Just do it. Like, you can't sit there and think about something you want to do too long, because it'll hold you back from starting. And that's the hardest thing to do, is start. Even with me personally, the podcast, I say and like a lot, and it's just because I have to like actually slow down, and I'm working on it, but I gotta slow myself down and actually allow myself to talk slower, so that I'm not saying filler words because of the awkward silence.
I'll be doing the same thing sometimes.
But you gotta let go. You'll grow as you go, and a lot of stuff is trial and error. There's no blueprint to anything, because you know what worked for you might not work for me, and vice versa. But even if it's something somebody never did, just do it.
It's kind of like, can't learn how to swim unless you jump in the pool.
Yeah.
That's been another episode of Taking It Easy with Alfreezzyy. I appreciate you for coming through.
I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Any last words you want to say to the people out there?
I want to say, for anybody that's been through anything, and whether it's your childhood or your adulthood, any kind of trauma, your pain can either be your destination, or it can be a pit stop. It doesn't have to be the rest of your life. You can leave it where it was at. You can accept that it happened and heal and grow from that point. But don't let it be your final destination. Just keep going, keep pushing. Like they say in Nemo, just keep swimming. You know. But when you're just keep swimming, don't ignore those things that come with it. Make sure that you actually take time to become aware of those things, and actually think about those things, the emotions that traumas or events brought to you, so that you're not sitting here blindly having the effects of those things. They say hurt people, but I mean, even if you've been hurt, if you properly care for your wounds, you're not gonna be out here just hurting people. But you gotta be aware at first. So
that's perfect. Thank you. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
That's been another episode. Appreciate y'all.